Let me see.
You are.
I just said who I was.
Who are you?
I'm DJ Mayday.
Yeah, but you're a producer. Okay, cool.
All right, we gotta do that because that just got crazy. Okay. Hello, welcome to Sixth Strength Therapy. I'm DJ Mayday.
And I'm Professor S, also known as Stephen Welch.
Well, you're actually Stephen Welch, also known as Professor S.
Well, what do you just said? I just did the introduction. You're going to reintroduce?
No.
Is this for the show or this is what you're correcting?
No, I'm just saying you're Stephen Welch.
You know what? This is what happens.
AKA
when you take a break from filming. Now we're trying to get back on flow, so just stay with us. 2023.
Don't do that. Why do you do
24.
that? It gets timestamped.
Oh.
3. Welcome to Sixth Strength Therapy. I'm DJ Mayday.
And I'm Professor S.
And hello, welcome. Damn.
And I'm...
Welcome to Sixth... God, this is bad. Hello and welcome to Sixth Strength Therapy. I'm DJ Mayday.
I'm Stephen Welch, also known as Professor S, psychotherapist.
And today we're going to talk about SAD, not the emotion sad so much.
S.A.D. What does that S.A.D. stand for, SAD? What does that mean?
Season Affective Disorder. Now, what we always used to like to do is always frame the topic. He makes fun of me because I do that.
Of course.
But we're going to just frame it really quick and then, Professor S, Stephen's going to break it down for us. So, seasonal affective disorder, or SAD, is a type of depression that typically occurs during the fall and winter months, when daylight hours are shorter. It's characterized by its recurrent seasonal pattern, with symptoms lasting about 4 to 5 months per year. So that's basically the definition. And some of the symptoms are lethargy, low mood or feeling listless, hopelessness, or worthlessness in particular. Hyperinsomnia, increased urges to sleep and hibernate, changes in appetite or weight increased, carbohydrate cravings, difficulty concentrating, which I'm kind of having right now. So those are some of the symptoms. It sounds pretty dramatic and kind of a lot.
But it sounds familiar, especially as we got through the COVID period. A lot of us were indoors, and some of us have now are actually now working indoors. So that can also contribute to S.A.D.
Well, me in particular, I've never really kind of noticed it until we kind of started doing some of these, reading.
The research.
Yeah, the research and understanding, and kind of just over the past year, just kind of you notice things a little differently the more you kind of submerge yourself in some of this self-help stuff. And one of the things I noticed is right after the Christmas holidays, which were great. It was a ball. It was like a party, right? It was a build-up for a month to this great kind of holiday season and party. And I was super busy DJing and stuff. And then after the holidays over,
it's like an anticlimactic.
Yeah, drop. So there was this dip. And then, the gigs slowed down. Not as many Christmas parties, right? Not as much, not as many parties happening. And then, it got really cold. You know what I mean? Yeah. It got really cold.
Really cold, darker, and you had less to do in terms of the DJing. But you also went to work. How did that affect your work, do you think?
I mean, I guess it all goes hand in hand. Now you're getting up in the dark, going to work in the cold and the dark, coming home in the cold and the dark. Not really ever spending a lot of time in the daylight. So I noticed that I was starting to kind of just drag, emotionally, like a little, I don't want to get up, I don't want to do this, whatever. So I was like, oh, this must be bad. This must be sad. This must be.
And also the thing is that sad could also look like other things. So, for example, recurrent depression. Some people have recurrent depression regardless of what season it is. And then some people may have bipolar, which is a mood disorder where your mood is up and down. So it can also look like that. But the whole idea with SAD is that is connected to the season. Is not these other disorders I mentioned are kind of consistent. SAD is definitely connected to the fall winter when the light is less. So that's just a kind of separate certain things. And people who have anxiety and eating disorders can also be more susceptible to S.A.D. because you may want to eat more. You know what I
God,
mean?
tell me about it.
Or the anxiety when you're not outside getting the sunlight. Because that's the other thing about S.A.D. It's a lack. It's also a lack of sunlight, and sunlight generates vitamin D, which generates serotonin and melatonin, and I think another hormone. But those are things that regulate our body's rhythms, what they call the circadian rhythm. That's the rhythm of, we're supposed to get up in the daylight, go to sleep at night. When you have SAD, you can be up at night, you can be sleeping during the day, especially when you feel lethargic, like you were saying earlier. So these are some of the to kind of separate that from the it's a special, like, narrow it down to the season, that these symptoms are what you experience, what they call the winter blues. Sometimes they call SAD the winter blues.
You know, it's crazy. I was thinking about, damn, it's like the rotating in the sun and all that stuff, and how it affects us and changes the seasons. Part of it's, like bears, they hibernate, right? Like they literally.
Which is a good point. I want to make a point about that too. Go ahead.
This is not science. This is just observational, not my nonsense. Like they hibernate. They go into their little caves. They hibernate and they sleep the whole winter. Just avoid the whole shit altogether. Are we like, kind of becoming sort of that thing, just in tune with where we are on the planet?
There is a theory. As I was doing my reading, there's a theory that as the Stone Age man, as we evolved, that since there was less food available, it's a theory. I don't think it's based on a lot of research, but the theory is that we too hibernated during the winter. There wasn't as much food. We became more sedentary to conserve our energy, which also caused us to gain weight, because now we're building up body fat. That now, when we come into the warmer weather, we have as energy stores to then be more active in terms of gathering food and survival. So it's
kind of
related.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's, like you said, there's no proof of that, but damn, it just feels eerily similar to what an animal would do.
What the bears might do.
Yeah, bears and even some other animals, how they conserve themselves during the winter or avoid the winter to kind of survive it. You know what I mean? Is it a latent instinct?
Right.
This SAD, seasonal affective disorder.
So there's strong correlation between light and generating vitamin D. And so they don't really know like how much vitamin D you need. That doesn't seem to be, to the research I did, it doesn't seem to be like a specific number. But that's the thing around D. And again, the vitamin D helps regulate some of our hormones. And when those hormones are out of whack, then we're out of whack. We become more anxious. We become less able to concentrate, and things like that.
Yeah. Well, I also read something as we were doing the research again, is that we absorb the sunlight, the vitamin D, through our skin.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like we literally.
Oh, that's another good point. Yeah, go ahead.
No, that's pretty much it. It's just that how important it is to get it all over your body and get it radiating on you. You know what I mean? Just to trigger your circadian rhythm and keep and regulate it. You know what I mean?
Right. So again, this is a seasonal issue. Again, from the winter, less light, versus other things. So shall we go on to? Well, I guess my notes, we've covered a good deal of it. So.
No, but I always feel like the winter is always that time of year that everything just kind of slows down.
Yeah.
And I always find myself looking for something to do in the winter, because a lot of the things that I like to do are generally outside. Like if it's DJing stuff, I like to go outside, to be outside or be around the people. But even and when I don't have a gig, I'm trying to hunt for a gig or do something to hunt. But when it's like this, I just want to stay home, play video games, and just chill. You know what I mean? I don't want to.
And I was talking to a friend of mine too about this, and I was saying that how I was home, working, and then when I take breaks, sometimes I don't go out. And he was saying, you really need to go out and walk, communicate with friends. That was another thing about S.A.D. because we tend to isolate if you're experiencing that. And it's how it's important to get out and walk and talk. And I found that, especially this week, I found that I was indoors quite a bit. And the cold is kind of part of it, but it's also just something to be aware of for me, because I work from home as a therapist.
Well, the other thing that I noticed, like, I'm definitely not in like my full-on workout kind of mode right now.
Same here.
So it's been hard to get fully back into that. And this is the time of year I kind of avoid the gym because like everybody in their New Year's resolutions is in there.
Right.
So I'm letting them work that out before I go back in.
Right.
But it just so happens like a week before the holidays I wasn't working out, and then I haven't gone back since. So it's been almost a month. So like now I'm like, okay, now I'm starting to feel it. So those were one of the things that was able to keep me kind of sustained through through the winter, like keep the energy up. It's something I know I have to get back to just to get my energy back up. You know what I mean?
And I know for me, I've not been working out as longer than you actually, but also you begin to store weight in the middle. The men specifically, especially as you get older, you store weight in the middle. That's why a lot of us have a belly. And like I'm 5'8" and maybe 175, 180 pounds, and I have a belly. So I'm short. And I look kind of normal. Well, I am normal.
You are normal.
But I have a belly. And a lot of that comes from inactivity, including my age. But it mostly comes from inactivity. So that's the other part too. And also being in just when you mention the gym, being in a gym environment, even if you're not talking to other people, you're around people. You're around
you
that
pick up the energy.
You pick up on the energy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there were like 4 years ago, I was running in this weather, and I had no problem running in this weather, and I'm not doing that now. You know what I mean? So, and even when you run in the weather, when you go out normally just to go to work or whatever, it's not as you're not as cold anymore.
Right.
You're so much stronger.
Right.
So it's like I want to get back to that. I gotta try to get back to that. So it's like picking myself up during, especially this time where like the energy's low, the mood's low. Is that I gotta get the motors going. So it's like something I'm noticing. And I gotta kind of counteract, and it's the doing. It's the
doing.
Tough.
It's the doing.
It's the tough part. I see it. I know what it is.
Yeah. I can identify with that 100%.
It's like cranking out there and getting out there and doing it. So I'll update you guys to see how I'm doing next week. Or
let's update. Yeah, we could do an update next week or in a month.
Let's see if I made it back to the gym.
If we both made it back to the gym, because it's really important.
So I have a video here. So that's another thing that we're kind of entering into into the show is segments from other YouTubers, shorts, or little videos. So this was an interesting video, and I just wanted to kind of play it out loud.
And we'll also have other videos listed below, so check out the other things too.
Winter solstice has a powerful message for us about mental health. You see, winter solstice is the darkest day of the year. The night is longest, the sun is only out for 10 hours today. But starting today, we will get a few more seconds of sunlight each day. And on average, until June 21st, just over 1 minute of extra sunlight each day. But that 1 minute adds up. Adding just 1 minute of sunlight each day is enough to transform the cold, dark winter into glorious, long, hot summer days. So that's what I think about when I feel like depression or anxiety is insurmountable, when it feels overwhelming or impossible. I think it just takes a few minutes of effort each day, and over time, those tiny changes add up to huge results. Like, tiny changes really do add up. So take a tiny step today to take care of yourself.
What I like about what she said was take tiny steps. You know what I mean? Like, take a step. Is better than no step, and then build on it slowly. Someone like myself, why can't I throw myself into the sunlight? Like, I'm all or nothing sometimes, but that is very encouraging to just take step at a time. Makes it manageable.
The thing I took from it is like just the way my analytical mind. I need to know my next step, right? And she says the beginning of the summer solstice was December 21st, and that's the longest day. The longest night, rather. So, but every day after that, we get 1 minute of sunlight every day until it becomes, until it's summertime again. So like it was I'm like, oh, okay, so we're getting every day you get a little step closer. The way my mind works, that helps me. Like I heard that and I was like, oh shit, that's great. All right, so every day, no matter what, it's gonna get brighter.
Right, right.
And
Which kind of is a lead into, I guess, treatments, right? So when you experience these feelings, that one of the treatment modalities is a sunbox.
light box.
It's a light box, which is called light therapy. And basically, it's a box. You can look it up on Amazon, and it generates, it kind of mimics daylight. So it's giving you the light that you need when you're at home, let's say, or at your desk. And I think the recommended lux is 10,000. So if you're looking on Amazon, the lux, I guess, is the light energy, light power, 10,000. And some things I read, you start with 5 minutes at a time, and then you build up. Another one I said, start with 20 minutes and then 30 minutes. But I think the general sense is you build up on it. You don't have to just stare at the light and stay there for hours. Yeah.
And like all you need is like I guess a little bit of it, like a little bit of juice to get you going.
And what that's supposed to do is reset those circadian rhythms that allow our brains to produce the right level of hormones that's gotten thrown off because we're not outside. So someone like myself that works primarily from home, it would be a good idea to have a light box. You know what I mean? So.
Well, I'm looking at hopefully go away this winter, hopefully, and get some sunlight. Hope recharge the battery.
And that's the other thing they were saying that in the research was that people who live in warmer, more brighter, sun is out, are less likely to have seasonal affective disorder. It's those of us that are in colder climates and where it gets very dark and stays dark for a while is just a different impact on the mood and generating vitamin D.
Sure, man. And there was also a thing in doing the research. It was like you could also during the summer. Well,
break it down, brother. Break it
down. If some people who are bipolar actually experience,
they're actually more at risk. Actually.
Yeah, but the swing is
more.
Yeah, even greater. So they're really down during the SAD period, seasonal affective disorder, winter month period, and then in the summer, what they go through is a mania.
It's mania.
So there's like a full extreme swing for people who happen to be bipolar. But I got to admit that I sometimes feel that. Now I'm wondering, am I like some weird kind of bipolar? Because in the summer I have so much energy. I'm much more enthusiastic, so much more kind of fiery, whereas in the winter not so much. So it's so interesting. Like once you kind of know that these things can happen during these times, I'm more aware. Like I knew something's up. I'm feeling something.
Right.
And then I even mentioned it to you, and that was even for the reason for this episode is like this is the time. This is when people lead up to.
And
this.
like I said, I know I'm repeating myself, but another mood that is at risk for this is people who have recurrent depression. That could put you more at risk. This person that has depression all through the year, at different levels, but that can also put you at risk for even deeper depression. So that's another piece to it.
And like I was saying, I'm hopefully next month going away, but I'm looking forward to that. And that's another thing, like something to look forward to. True. Not everybody can go away in the winter, understandably, but just even if you can create a scenario where you have something to look forward to, maybe you can change the mood of the seasonal affective disorder and turn it away. But once you know it's there and once you know it can affect you, I think you're a step ahead of it. You know what I mean? One way or the other.
The other treatment, if you're experiencing this, is psychotherapy. So psychotherapy allows a person to have a safe space to talk about some of the things that might be contributing to S.A.D. Or it may not be S.A.D., it could be something else, right? Like depression, or it could even be like an anniversary grief, right? Somebody who passed away this time of year, and it kind of coincides with the darker weather and the feeling of loss, so that can really compound it. And the cognitive behavioral therapy (CBT) is one of the techniques that therapists can mostly use to help with S.A.D. So you're looking at your thoughts, your behaviors, and what was the other thing? I forgot. Behavior patterns, thoughts, changing behavior. Oh my God, there's a third piece, but it's your thoughts and behavior patterns. You look at them, and then you strategize with the therapist. What can you do about it? So let's say you tend to feel like you don't want to go out as part of the behavior, and what you then do is, okay, I want you to go out. Therapist might say, try going out for 5 minutes a day and see how you feel. And then let's talk about it. Well, a lot of times with CBT, you actually write it. You write down what you did, how you felt, and so on. So that's not a complete description of CBT, but it's about your thoughts, your behaviors, and the interaction of those things, and then mood and so on. So that's one of the treatments. So psychotherapy is just a supportive environment to be in, and when you look at a holistic pattern, including the light box and so on, it's really important to consult with your healthcare professional, your doctor. The psychotherapy should be part of a holistic plan to manage
Winter solstice
this.
has a powerful message.
Go ahead. Sorry about
To manage
that.
this, and so sometimes this information is so important. We need to play it twice.
No, I just.
But the other thing too, for some people to consider are medications, antidepressants. A lot of people are not pro pills and so on, and a lot of times that's the last resort treatment. But it's something to really consider because the antidepressants also help produce the serotonin and the melatonin. No, serotonin. It regulates your hormones more because sometimes depression is a decrease of hormones that could be related to the weather or not, but it's hormone production. So the medication helps with that. So that's the other part to that. But definitely, and it regulates mood. But definitely consult with your health care professional, no matter what you do.
Well, we recently got some snow too, which
did?
we hadn't had in a couple of years. I didn't realize it's been over 2 years since it snowed in New York. So we got a little bit of snow. It's extra cold. We're getting all this like cold Canadian like sub-zero weather down here, and it is brutal. Let me tell you, it is brutal.
So you got to dress correctly.
Yeah, so all those things are like
Contributing factors, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think that's about it.
That's about it.
Yeah, I'm DJ Mayday,
I'm Professor S.
and thank you for listening to Sixth String Therapy.